Shall we begin?
Rasuke here, salutations, and this is Klash Warlocke number 5. It's been a while, people. Oh my god, it's been a while. But let me introduce myself, excuse me. I'm Rasuke, part of Rasuke Media, and Klash Warlocke in particular is my fantasy RPG. I was gonna say fantasy RPG. Fantasy IP, excuse me, that I'm creating. And this is the process. The Watcher basically is just showing you the trials and tribulations of having a 9-to-5 married life and other things of your family and free time to even play video games and watch movies and manga or read manga and anime and just having a life, and also trying to create something out of your own head that you're pretty passionate about. So whenever I get a chance. So my last one, number 4, was 11 months ago. So it's been a roller coaster, but there's been other things going on. But let's get into it. You've seen the thumbnail and that sort of thing of the newest character that me and the team has worked on, and that sort of thing. And this is Keve. Now, if this is your first time watching a Klash Warlocke Watcher, yes, this is a fantasy IP that I'm working on. Klash Warlocke deals with my concept, not in the traditional sense of what a warlock is, but basically these are supernatural fighters that deal with the body, the mind, and the soul. And the body deals with more like weapons and kind of armor, that sort of thing. I won't give too much away on that. The mind actually deals with psychic powers, but more that telekinesis as far as controlling elemental powers. That's why it's called elemental. Elements, mental, you can control it. So all of those guys can do fire, ice, lightning, that sort of situation. And then last but not least, which is what Keve is right here, is that he's a spirit essence, which is spirit essence. So spirit essence. So each one is that sort of thing. One warlock specializes in physicality, another one in elemental, meaning energy, and the last one spirit or soul. And so that's what Keve is right now, spirit essence. Essence. So anyway, you see here that he has his like dual swords. He comes from a very icy, mountainous, kind of Viking-esque type of environment. So this was the initial sketch. I'm a writer, creator. Do I draw these characters? First and foremost, I'm going to say no. I'm not the primary artist. There are 3 of us. Technically kind of like a 4th one, but most of us working, it's three people involved in this. But this is my brainchild, and I'm working on it with 2 other people / a 4th one. So anyway, this was my initial concept, and me and the team were talking about that and getting his design. But as we looked at the other characters and the way I was framing the story, that has changed to Keve being more like this. So now he's gotten away from the tattered rags and that sort of thing. And since he's in a icy, snowy, mountain kind of forced environment, I switched his weapons to kamas. That's correct. Some people call them sigils. I'm thinking of the like ninja weapon, the kurosagama kamas, which is like the chain. You've seen it. And a sickle kind of thing. If you're familiar with like a anime or manga called Soul Eater, which is one of my favorites. There's Black Star, think of Black Star's comma weapons. That's basically how Keve fights. And I love his name because it sounds like cleaver, cleave. He cuts you in half, so Keve. And it's spelled Keve. So anyway, yeah, he uses that to climb up mountains, trees, snow. He uses them as tools and as weapons. He's a survivalist. That's kind of the way I think of him. He lives out in the forest. He gets all of his sustenance from the forest and nature. He enjoys all of those things much more than being in a city and being around large crowds and a lot of kind of like, because in my fantasy, there is a kind of magical technology, which I will explain later. But anyway, yeah, his spirit Essen, the spirit is Predator, which is a wolf. So you can see how the commas fit much more, I think much more so in his environment, much more so than the twin swords. Besides my main character, if you look back at some of the other Klash Warlocke Watchers, is Enzo. He uses dual swords, but they're more like katanas and that sort of thing. Short swords. But anyway, so I didn't want two characters. We were like, why do we have two characters with dual swords? You know, one was just more, you know, European, Western, and the other one was Eastern. So we decided to scrap that, make him much more unique with this. And it fits into his like spirit animal or soul animal, which is the wolf. So you could think of those as the claws or the fangs. And so when he's fighting with those, you'll see a huge, you know, aura of a wolf's claw. Or if he uses both, it would be the fangs. You'd see a giant wolf mouth and the fangs are, you know what I mean, do an attack like that. So very dynamic. I think it works better than the swords. Yes, the swords could do that, but I think the commas really brings out that sort of thing, that when he's slashing with those, you know what I mean, and he does a special attack, you will see that aura of a giant wolf's, you know, claw or fangs with both, you know what I mean, the mouth. The last thing I'll tell you about his design right there, it's the sketch and that sort of thing, is that the weapons, when you're using the commas and that sort of thing, or sickles, you know, you can call them either or, is that yes, he has chains, but they are spirit chains, soul chains. So when he's fighting, yes, it's up close, but he can throw them out and he can connect a chain from his gauntlet there. If you see, he's got a crystal here and basically they're orbs, an orb there and an orb there, and they connect. So you can throw them out. There's chains. Yes, it is 1 o'clock. So you can throw them out, pull them in, do different attacks, twirl it around like that. And the great thing is that it's a spirit chain, so it doesn't really get tangled up in things because he can recall it, disappears. It's part of his essence and that sort of thing. So you can imagine all the different things. He can throw it, it can twirl, stick into something. He has the chain, you know what I mean, makes it connect. He can pull himself to things and things to him. So can't wait to really like flesh out more of that and do some action scenes and things like that. So that is Keve. Now this character right here, I believe I've shown before, but we're doing some coloring and that sort of thing. And this is Makoto. She's a royal guard. She's a bodyguard to the king. She's pretty tomboyish, that sort of thing. We're working on the color designs, and the kingdom that Enzo, my main character, is from is more of a hybrid between the Japanese style and European, and that's because of his mother and father. So he's kind of got some mixed ancestry there, which I will explain more later. But what you're seeing here is me playing around with colors and trying to get the look and feel right. And I'll probably get rid of these spikes. Yeah, that's just probably, you know, when we were first doing it, we thought it was pretty cool, but I do like everything else. Swords are fine. I like the gauntlets. We haven't fully fleshed out because everything is kind of like in sketch form, and even if it's kind of final, you've seen some other pictures of me showing manga panels of the story, but you haven't seen it in color, so we haven't fully fleshed out what is the color of the kingdom that the soldiers and bodyguards and everybody wears and that sort of thing. So that's giving you an idea of what they look like kind of in color. So now we're going to go towards the biggest change of all. I had this character. He's actually the general of the kingdom that Enzo is from. And he's the Lord General. And he was also using dual swords. As you can tell, I really love dual swords. Me and the team were just like, we love that. So we're scratching that. It's gone. I mean, I love that. At first, we were just kind of making characters, and there's other characters you guys haven't seen, so don't think like every character we make has dual swords. They don't. We promise, right? So instead, and here's a recent manga panel to show you guys. He actually has a large sword like that, and he is a caster clad. He is one of the ones that uses body. Remember I was telling you there's the body, the mind, and the soul, and each one does something different. So if you're of the body, which is the shard triangle, and as you can see here, it's right there, that's the sword. They specialize in magical weapons and shields. They're the only, what I mean? They have a shield that just kind of projects from their armor from there, right there, as he's blocking some projectiles and that sort of thing. The sword blade is actually inside the hilt, believe it or not, and it's full metal. It's not energy, but it comes shing straight out there, and he's ready to attack. So we've already made that change. He's already been implemented into the story and other things that we're doing besides the story of Klash Warlocke. There's going to be other things, other merchandise. Now, a couple of more things I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to close it out. First of all, we're working on our money system. I plan to have a money system. And instead of having coins, I was like, why don't we do something different? And I was thinking of like slats, like gold slats with like the hole in the center and that sort of thing. And I started doing research. That one's pretty thick. And here's some different sizes there. That's pretty interesting. I kind of like that one because it's like a coin. Yeah, let me slide that over. And I'm confirmed, because everybody, even in video games and in other systems, it's always coins. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do like these like golden kind of like slats kind of thing. Coins are going to exist, but I'm going to have that more like that silver. Gold will be slats, silver will be coins. So that's how that gonna work. And I found these right here, and I think this, to me, let's move these out of the way. It's kind of like the perfect, what I could also do is saying when it's this thick, you know what I mean? That could be like 1,000 slats like that one. And that's not going to be the name, by the way. I'll tell you the name of that later. I'm working on 2 names. So when I have the concrete name, picking between the 2, I'll let you know. But for right now, I see slats. So I like this right here. I could just imagine a bundle of those. You know, you toss that down, like how much is that? You know, whether if this is a game or story or whatever that we do with Klash Warlocke. You know what I mean? They're just like bundles of sticks, maybe only like that long. You put them in a string. And I'm going to say the gold is not the whole thing. Maybe it's just, you know what I mean, partial here or, you know, down there. It's not full on gold. But this is for the wealthy class. That will be full on gold, you know. But I like the size of that, you know, maybe like a popsicle stick, you know, maybe that long. And bundled through just like that with the string. You count, toss them down, you toss down like 2 or 3, you know what I mean? This could be like 25, you know, gold. This could be 50. And then when you get something like this is like 1,000. So that's what I'm working on. So I'm very excited about that. Me and the team. That's letting you know that I'm fully fleshing out the Klash Warlocke realm, the Klash Warlocke world, if you will. And you know, I was going to do one other thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about the one last little thing. I know it's right here, but this is the Klash Warlocke logo, and I was happy for it with a while, but it just doesn't fit with all of the things that we're kind of changing and doing and that sort of thing. It doesn't give the impact, doesn't give me the feel. We went through several, so the Klash Warlocke logo will be changing again. The last one wasn't a big change, but this one will be changing, and I'm choosing between 3. This is something I've designed. I do have a background in graphic design, but I do not draw as well as like making figures and stuff like that. But I can do, you know what I mean, some logos. I can do some simple things. I'm better with more like image manipulation and storytelling and like marketing presentations and stuff like that. Kind of my 9 to 5, if you will. So anyway, the Klash, the next time I do a Klash Warlocke Watcher number 6 will be the new logo. So I'll just take that away and say thanks for watching. I know this one's really long. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and the next one will be coming sooner because I have even more content to show you guys. And that's about it. Thanks again for watching. This is Rasuke.